Hi, this is Dave Philippi with FabCAD, and in this series of lessons we're going to go over dimensioning paper space. We're going to also take a look at revision clouds and the options you have there, and then the wipeout command and how you can set the wipeout behind or in front of different entities on the screen. So here's a railing that's drawn and needs to be dimensioned. So I'm going to go to Layout tab here, because I want to dimension it in paper space, because I want to do multiple views of this railing and have all the dimensions the same. So I'm going to click rectangular here and make a rectangular window, cut a hole in this screen here to accommodate the railing itself. So I'll just do a zoom window, zoom this up. Okay, now I'm going to switch over to paper. Just like you can dimension these lines in model space, you can do the same thing in paper space. But I need to make sure I have my right kind of dimensioning. So I have a paper space dimensioning which has smaller text, because in the model space I need larger text because of the model. And usually I need a 2-inch text there. Here you use a 1/8 inch text because they're actually dimensioning right on the sheet of paper. So I'll just do an aligned dimension here. Right click and pick this top bar and dimension that right there. So it's sensing what's in the model, and I'll pick the post, do that there. Now what's really cool is if I needed to move this around, if I use the pan command here, let me get back in the model. If I had to pan this, you notice the dimensions jump and stay right where they need to be. Now if I use my wheel to do that, the dimensions, if I were to do it, the dimensions won't work. But if I use the commands up here, the dimensions will follow along. But one thing that you can do to prevent the zooming from changing is to lock the viewport. So I'm going to put a padlock on that. So now this viewport won't move anymore. If I accidentally spin in or out, it's just going to stay there. So then I can dimension other items on here and be good to go. Now, why go through all the trouble? Oops, that's in model space. Let me go back and get a dimension and just notice how small that was. So why go through all this trouble of doing this? Well, because if you do another viewport here, for instance, and I want to blow up a detail here, and I want to get, say, for instance, the angular dimension of that. Oh, back in model again. Let me get back to paper. You notice that the text size is the same, whether I blow the detail up or not. Okay, that's the reason to do it that way. Now, you can also accomplish the same thing with annotative dimensioning. It's just that that's another whole lesson, and a lot of people have a hard time dealing with that, making that work like they want. So, they go with this. And then I go back to model and I lock that viewport so I don't lose that. So that's the main reason for doing dimensioning in paper space. Now revision clouds have been around for a while, so I'm going to go down here to the draw. I'm going to pin that. And here's revision clouds. So you got some choices here. Freehand, which is the original one, when you would just put a cloud around something like that. And I could draw a circle. There's also a polygonal or polygonal. I don't know exactly how you pronounce that. Click that, and you could pick any polygon you've already drawn, and it'll do that. You can also do rectangular. Okay, and if you do the polygonal here, you can just, it works pretty much like a freehand, I guess. You just hold, you just click, 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 and shape it any way you want. So say you have a situation where you've got a text in the middle of a drawing here, and you want to make the text clearer to see, I'm going to put a rectangle in here, and I'm going to create a wipeout that'll wipe out some of the pickets behind this thing. So I go to wipeout, and I right click to accept polyline, and I pick this rectangle, and there it wipes it out. Now the problem now is that the dimension is in behind. So there's this other command called bring to front, and I clicked on the dimension, and it brings the dimension to the front. So now you got a clear background for your dimension inside all these pickets. You can also wipe out freehand. Just show you how this wipeout thing works. You just go. That's what a wipeout is. It just wipes out the area of the screen. The stuff is still behind there, but see there, it's there. But the wipeout just gives you a blank area.